Hello students, today we are going to cover an important chapter of class 6 social science, which is chapter 4 timeline and sources of history. Now, before starting the chapter, let me introduce myself a little bit. So I am Raghadaksh, currently pursuing history honors from University of Delhi College of Vocational Studies. Now let's start our chapter. How do we learn about the past? This is the first question that comes to our mind. So we learn about history by studying clues that are left behind by nature and humans. What are those clues such as writings, monuments, weather, climate conditions, etc. Now four key people who help us discover the past are geologists, paleontologists, anthropologists and archaeologists. Now, geologists are the people who are interested in studying Earth's surface. They study about the Earth's surface, that how is the soil, rocks, rivers. Uh, these people answer some of the questions such as why do mountains form, why do rivers change their direction. Now, paleontologists are the people who study about the fossils. Now, what are fossils? Fossils are the old bones of humans, animals, and plants. Example, fossil of a dinosaur or early human skull. Anthropologists, these are the people who study about the human culture and behavior, that how early humans lived in the society, how they married, and how they, what were their beliefs, what god did they worship or hunted, which animal. Okay, these are some of the examples of how anthropologists study the past. Now, there are archaeologists. These are the people who study about the things that are left behind by humans. For example, old pots, tools, toys, houses, bones, jewelry, etc. Now, how is time measured in history? Different culture had their own calendars. Today, the Gregorian calendar is used worldwide. So, the calendar which we use today is known as Gregorian calendar. CE is a term which is known as Common Era, which is for used for the years after the birth of Jesus Christ. Example, 1947 CE. BC is the term which is used, it is known as before Common Era, it is used for the years before Jesus was born, example 560 BCE. A timeline is used to show the order of events in history. Now look at this picture. Here, the center point is the birth of Jesus Christ. So when the Jesus Christ was born, uh, after after that time period, it is considered as AD or CE. It is known as Common Era or Anno Domini. So Anno Domini is more of a Christian term. Meanwhile, CE Common Era is more of a secular term. So, for example, if we talk about India's independence, so we can say that India got its independence in 1947 AD or 1947 CE. Now, when we use before Christ, it is basically when before the birth of Jesus Christ, such as 500 BCE or BC or 1000 BCE or 1000 BC. So, this is how the timeline works. Now, what are the sources of history? Just like you use old photos or stories to know about your family's past, historians use sources to know about history. Um, these are some of the sources such as monuments, inscriptions. Inscriptions are the writings that are written on the hard surface, such as rock and pillars. Old coins, literature and texts, tools, pottery, ornament, bone, bones, paintings, oral tradition, modern sources such as newspaper, TV, and internet helps in spreading these information. Now, historians cross check sources to ensure accuracy. So, historians are the most important people who study about the history. They cross check the sources to ensure that is it accurate or not. So, experts who help in studying history included includes historians. So, historians always research and write about the history. Archaeologists are the people who dig up sites and they analyze remains. For example, Indus Valley site was excavated by archaeologists, and they found some of the sources to study about that era. Now, epigraphists are the people who study inscriptions. Who study inscriptions are the writings that are written on the hard surface, such as rock and pillars. So they read the ancient scripts and study the inscriptions. Language experts are there. So language experts helps in translating the ancient texts that are written. For example, Persian was used earlier, or Sanskrit was used earlier. So these were the languages that are translated into English or Hindi by language experts. So scientists are also there. Scientists help in understanding the climate, DNA, chemical studies about the past. Now, the beginning of human life. When did humans appear? So, modern humans, which are Homo sapiens sapiens, were also present about 3 lakh years ago. From then, we started to show up. So, early humans were also there, who used to live in groups. They hunted animals and gathered fruits. They made stone tools. They used fire for the cooking purposes, or for the safety purpose. They lived in caves and rock shelters. Rock art example are there. For example, rock paintings are found in Bhimbetka caves, which are present in Madhya Pradesh, India. This basically shows human figures hunting or dancing. Now, Ice Age and after, first crops and settlements. What is the Ice Age? Let's first understand. A long period when the earth was covered in ice and snow is known as Ice Age. Last Ice Age ended for about 12,000 years ago. After the Ice Age, humans began to grow crops like wheat, barley. They started to domesticate animals such as goats, sheep, cows, etc. They settled near rivers for water and for fertile land, so that they could live peacefully and acquire food. Now, for example, people settled near the Ganga and Indus rivers in India. Ice Age, so this is the timeline basically. So the Ice Age ends and climate started to rise. So climate warms. After that, rivers were formed. Uh, then the farming started to begin. Villages were formed. Tools and pottery were invented for the storage purposes, and for hunting and for gathering. Now towns also developed after a point of time. So this is how settlements started taking place. Now, growth of early societies. People lived in small communities and worked together. There was no personal ownership. Land and food were shared. Villages exchanged things like food, clothes, tools. Villages became towns and technology improved. Pottery for storing things. Metals like copper and iron were used for tools and ornaments. So basically, people started to grow as a society, as an early society. People lived in small communities, they worked together. There were no personal ownership, because everything was shared among them. Land, whether it is land or whether it is food. Villages basically exchanged things like food, clothes, and tools. So barter system was used at that time. Villages became towns and technology improved. Pottery was used for storing things. Metal like copper and iron were used for tools and ornaments. Now let's see. Community life was there. That land was shared. Everyone worked together on that land. No private property was there. People sowed and harvested together. Chieftains. Now chieftains were the leaders who used to manage food and people. Trade was taking place between villages. So villages exchanged tools, foods, clothes, etc. New technology came. For example, pottery and metal tools came into use. Firstly, copper was used, and then later on, Iron Age took place. If we look at the example, so example is Mehergarh, which is currently present in Pakistan. So it is one of the earliest farming sites that was present in India. Now there were some challenges faced by early humans. Faced dangers like animals, harsh weather conditions, and food shortage, due to which humans started to die because of health issues, etc. Some human species disappeared like Neanderthals, but Homo sapiens survived through teamwork and courage. So Homo sapiens survived. That's why we all are present today. All right. So these were some of the challenges that were faced by humans and early humans, and that's how evolution took place. So yeah, this was all about the chapter. I hope you really enjoyed this lecture. You can give the video a like and ask me a doubt if you have any in the comment section. So yeah, thank you.